One thing I've noticed over the years is that almost everyone falls in love with anthuriums. Their glossy green leaves and colorful flowers can brighten almost any room. And it's easy to see why they're such popular houseplants. But there's one question I hear again and again. Why did my anthurium bloom beautifully when I first brought it home? But now it only grows leaves? If you've been wondering the same thing, you're definitely not alone. Not long ago, I visited a friend who proudly showed me his anthurium. The leaves looked healthy, but he told me it hadn't produced a single flower in nearly a year. I water it regularly, he said. I fertilize it too. I just can't figure out what's wrong. I took a closer look. And within a minute I realized the fertilizer wasn't the problem. That experience reminded me of something I've learned after years of growing plants. Most anthuriums don't stop blooming because they suddenly become difficult to care for. More often than not, it's the little things we do every day that slowly make the difference. So instead of looking for expensive fertilizers or miracle products, I'd like to share a few simple habits that have worked well for me over the years. One of them involves rice water. Something many people pour away without giving it a second thought. Used the right way, it can be a helpful addition to a healthy plant care routine. The first thing I always pay attention to, though, has nothing to do with fertilizer or rice water. It's the amount of light the plant receives. Whenever someone asks me why an anthurium isn't blooming, the first thing I do is look at where it's growing. That may sound surprisingly simple, but it's also one of the most common problems I come across. Many people have heard that anthuriums like shade, so they place them in the darkest corner of the house. The plant stays alive. The leaves remain green. And everything seems perfectly fine. But after a few months, subtle changes begin to appear. The stems become longer. The new leaves are smaller than before. The whole plant slowly leans toward the nearest window. And before long, the flowers stop appearing. The reason is actually quite simple. Although anthuriums don't enjoy harsh afternoon sun, they still need plenty of bright, indirect light every day. Without enough light, the plant has to use its energy searching for better conditions instead of producing flowers. One easy way to tell if your plant needs more light is by looking at the leaves. Healthy anthurium leaves are usually thick, glossy, and evenly spaced along the stem. If the stems are stretching, the leaves are getting smaller, or the plant keeps leaning in one direction, it's probably asking for more light. From my experience, anthuriums grow best near a bright window or on a covered patio where they can enjoy several hours of bright, indirect light each day. Just avoid moving the plant from a dark corner into direct sunlight overnight. A gradual change gives it time to adjust without unnecessary stress. I've seen plants produce stronger leaves simply because they were moved to a better location. Once the light is right, the plant has a much better chance of growing well. Of course, healthy growth depends on more than light alone. I've also seen anthuriums sitting in the perfect spot, yet they still struggle to bloom. In almost every one of those cases, the next thing I checked was the soil. Because the way we water an anthurium often has a much bigger impact than people expect. Once the lighting is right, I almost always turn my attention to the soil. Over the years, I've found that many anthuriums don't struggle because they're underwatered. If anything, they're usually getting too much attention. I've met people who water their plants every morning before work, then give them another drink in the evening because the top of the soil looks a little dry. It comes from a good place. We naturally think that if water helps plants grow, then giving them more water must be even better. But anthuriums don't work that way. Their roots need oxygen just as much as they need moisture. When the potting mix stays wet all the time, those tiny pockets of air disappear, and the roots can't breathe properly. As they become weaker, the plant also becomes less efficient at taking up water and nutrients. The tricky part is that this doesn't happen overnight. At first, everything still looks normal. The leaves stay green. The plant doesn't seem unhealthy. Then growth starts slowing down. New leaves become smaller. Flower buds appear less often. And before long the plant simply stops blooming. That's why I never water an anthurium on a fixed schedule. Instead, I let the soil tell me when it's time. I simply press my finger about an inch into the potting mix. If it still feels cool and slightly moist, I leave it alone. If it feels dry, I water thoroughly until excess water drains from the bottom of the pot. Then I make sure the pot drains completely because standing water around the roots can create problems over time. The potting mix itself also plays an important role. Even perfect watering won't help if the soil stays heavy and soggy for days. I've had much better results using a loose, well-draining mix that holds enough moisture for the roots without trapping excess water. Once the roots are healthy, everything else becomes much easier. The plant grows stronger, produces healthier leaves, and makes much better use of the nutrients you give it. Maybe that's one reason so many gardeners are interested in simple homemade plant boosters. One of the most popular has always been rice water. I remember seeing people use it long before I ever understood why. When I was growing up, almost no one threw rice water away. After washing rice, people would carry the bowl outside and pour it around vegetables, fruit trees, or ornamental plants. Back then, I assumed they were simply trying not to waste anything. Later, I learned that fresh rice water contains small amounts of starch, B vitamins, and trace minerals. It's not a complete fertilizer, but it can be a simple way to return a little organic matter to the soil as part of an overall care routine. The important thing isn't just using rice water. It's using it correctly. One mistake I see quite often is pouring concentrated rice water directly into the pot. Some people do it every day. Others leave it to ferment for a long time because they believe it becomes more powerful. Personally, I prefer a much simpler approach. I use fresh rice water. Let the heavier particles settle for a few minutes. Then dilute it with clean water, about 1 part rice water to 5 or even 10 parts water. I apply it around the base of the plant once every 2 to 4 weeks. Usually in the morning or late in the afternoon. I also avoid pouring it directly onto the leaves or flowers. If the soil ever develops a sour smell or shows signs of mold, I stop using rice water and return to normal watering until everything looks healthy again. What I've learned over the years is that rice water should never be treated as a miracle solution. It can support a healthy care routine, but it can't replace good light, healthy roots, or balanced nutrition. In fact, I've seen plenty of anthuriums that received all the fertilizer they could possibly need and still refused to bloom. The interesting part was that the fertilizer itself often wasn't helping, it was actually part of the problem. That may sound surprising, but I've seen it happen more times than I can count. Someone shows me an anthurium with beautiful, glossy leaves and asks why it hasn't flowered in months. At first glance, the plant looks incredibly healthy. The leaves are large. The color is deep green. Everything seems perfect. Then they tell me they've been feeding it fertilizer every week because they want more flowers. That's usually when I understand what's happening. Like any plant, anthuriums need nutrients to grow. But more isn't always better. when they receive too much nitrogen. They often put most of their energy into producing leaves instead of flowers. The result is a plant that looks lush and healthy but rarely blooms. I've learned that steady, balanced feeding works much better than trying to speed things up. I simply follow the recommended amount on the fertilizer label and avoid thinking that adding twice as much will produce twice as many flowers. When I want to encourage blooming, I choose a balanced fertilizer that's suitable for flowering houseplants and apply it consistently rather than heavily. Healthy plants respond much better to regular care than to occasional large doses of fertilizer. If you ever notice brown leaf tips, white mineral deposits on the soil surface, or slower growth after feeding, it may be a sign that the plant is getting more fertilizer than it actually needs. Sometimes the best thing you can do is simply reduce the amount and let the plant recover. Once the nutrition is balanced, the plant can focus its energy where it matters most. That's also when I start paying attention to something many people hesitate to do. I look for old leaves and faded flowers that are ready to be removed. I used to think leaving every leaf on the plant was the best approach. Even if a leaf had started turning yellow, I'd wait. If an old flower was fading, I'd leave it because I thought the plant looked fuller. Over time, I realized I was actually making the plant work harder than it needed to. Old leaves and spent flowers still use some of the plant's energy, even though they've already done their job. Removing them allows that energy to be redirected into healthy new leaves, stronger roots, and future flower buds. It's a small habit, but it can make a noticeable difference over time. Whenever I prune an anthurium, I always use clean, sharp scissors. I make clean cuts close to the base without damaging healthy tissue. Clean tools also help reduce the chance of spreading bacteria or fungal diseases. While I'm pruning, I take a few extra moments to inspect the plant. I look under the leaves for pests. I check for yellowing foliage or damaged stems. I also make sure the potting mix still looks healthy. Those few minutes often help me catch small problems before they become bigger ones. One thing gardening has taught me is that healthy plants don't usually improve because of one dramatic change. They improve because of many small habits repeated over time. And one of those habits has nothing to do with fertilizer, watering, or pruning. It has to do with the environment the plant lives in every single day. For anthuriums, the humidity around the plant can make more of a difference than many people realize. It took me a while to realize how much humidity affects an anthurium. A few years ago, I had two plants that looked almost identical. They were growing in similar pots, received the same fertilizer, and were watered the same way. For a while, they grew almost exactly alike. Then things slowly started to change. One continued producing healthy leaves and bloomed regularly. The other stayed alive. But the leaves became smaller. The edges started turning brown. And flowers became harder to find. At first, I thought I had missed something. I checked the soil. I checked the fertilizer. I even wondered if the roots were the problem. Then I noticed one simple difference. The healthier plant was growing near a bright window where fresh air moved gently through the room. The other was sitting close to an air conditioner that ran for hours every day. That was the only thing that had changed. Anthuriums are tropical plants, so they're naturally adapted to warm, humid environments. When the air becomes too dry, the plant can survive, but it often grows more slowly. The leaves may lose some of their shine. The edges can begin to dry out, and flowering may become less consistent over time. Fortunately, improving humidity doesn't have to be complicated. If possible, Keep your Anthurium in a bright spot with good air circulation, but away from direct airflow from heaters or air conditioners. If the air in your home feels dry, lightly misting around the plant in the morning can help increase humidity. I say around the plant because I try not to leave water sitting on the flowers or trapped between the leaves for long periods. Another simple trick is grouping several houseplants together. As they naturally release moisture into the air, they create a slightly more humid environment that benefits all of them. Sometimes, the smallest changes make the biggest difference. Once the light, watering, nutrition, and humidity all work together, an Anthurium usually has everything it needs to grow well. At that point, there's really just one small habit left that I never skip. It only takes a few minutes, but I've found it's well worth the effort. Whenever I visit someone who grows houseplants indoors, I often notice a thin layer of dust on the leaves. Most people don't think much about it. To be honest, I didn't either when I first started growing Anthuriums. But over time, cleaning the leaves became part of my routine. Leaves are where the plant captures light and turns it into energy. When dust builds up, even a thin layer can reduce the amount of light reaching the leaf surface. Keeping the leaves clean helps the plant make better use of the light it's already receiving. About every couple of weeks, I simply wipe both sides of each leaf with a soft cloth dampened with clean water. There's no need for special leaf shine products. A soft cloth and clean water have always worked well for me. While I'm cleaning the leaves, I also take a quick look at the rest of the plant. Are any leaves turning yellow? Are there signs of insects hiding underneath? Does the soil still look healthy? That quick inspection has helped me catch small problems before they turned into bigger ones. Looking back, I think that's probably the biggest lesson gardening has taught me. Healthy Anthuriums aren't usually the result of one secret trick. They're the result of many simple habits that work together over time. Good light, healthy roots, careful watering, balanced nutrition, using rice water properly if you choose to, removing old leaves when they're ready, maintaining comfortable humidity, and taking a few minutes to keep the leaves clean. None of these habits will transform a plant overnight, but together, they create the conditions an Anthurium needs to stay healthy and produce beautiful flowers for years to come. I hope you found these tips helpful and that they'll make caring for your own Anthurium a little easier. Thanks so much for spending this time with me. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate your support with a like and a subscription. Until next time, happy gardening, and I hope your Anthurium rewards you with many beautiful blooms.